My way too early top 10 in college football for 2026. It is January 22nd, 2026. So we are over 8 months away from the start of the college football season. I don't know how you really actually do these anymore. I think in years past, it was pretty easy to say with relative certainty. I'm talking like 2010s. Yeah, Bama's going to be there. Yeah, Clemson's going to be there. Yeah, LSU's probably going to be there. Georgia every other year, especially when Kirby got it rolling, they're going to be there. Oregon's certainly a safe bet to be in the top 5 or top 10. Ohio State, certainly a safe bet to be in the top 5 or top 10. But, nowadays I'm like, I don't know. So, by the way, going back to that preseason top 25, you want to guess where Indiana was ranked? Indiana was number 20 in the preseason top 25, and even after a great year, Miami, the U, they were number 10, and I even thought that was maybe too high. Anyway, so it's the point is obviously Indiana Signetti, that they're an outlier in the history of the sport in terms of just a sensational job. Everyone calling it the greatest story in college football history, or one of them, greatest turnaround in college football history or sports history. And I like I said, I already did a different segment on that. All the respect in the world to Signetti. All the respect in the world to Indiana, Mendoza. I thought Mendoza was just a super, super, super special player this year. I think maybe we might look back and just realize how special he actually was. We'll see what Josh Hoover does next year. But I'll give you my way too early top 10. I'll just list them out, and then I'll go one by one and kind of tell you why. Number 1, I have Indiana. Number 2, this might be a little high, admittedly, but I have LSU. Number 3, Georgia. Number 4, Texas. Number 5, Ohio State. Number 6, Oregon. Number 7, Miami. Number 8, Notre Dame. Number 9, Michigan. And number 10, Texas Tech. I think Ole Miss and Texas A&M are kind of right on the outside looking in as well. Don't really know how to judge either of those teams. Obviously, the whole Trinidad thing is up in the air right now. And then Texas A&M, it was such a fraudulent season, and I don't mean that in a rude way, but they played one of the top 8 teams in the SEC, and they got spanked by double digits. So it's tough to tell how good they actually were. Obviously, put up 3 points at home in the game against Miami. It's like, you got to leave me with a little something better than that to respect you all the way. But let's go one by one here. Indiana, they're bringing in Josh Hoover. I want to shout out Mark Schlabach for dropping his way too early top 25 for 2026 article, because he lists out the key starters. So I like to do that. I'd like to list those out for you guys, and I want to give him the shout-out and the credit for doing all the homework on who declared and who didn't and who they're bringing in. Obviously, Josh Hoover and the receiver Nick Marsh from Michigan State are the big names. Turbo Richard from Boston College, big name. A.J. Harris, the corner from Penn State, big name coming in. And they got some O-linemen as well. A lot of losses for Indiana, though. They'll lose, obviously, Mendoza, Elijah Surratt, Pat Coogan, who's the center, Rose Bowl MVP, Notre Dame transfer, Roman Hemby, the starting running back, Stephen Daly, awesome D lineman, Aiden Fisher, awesome linebacker, Lewis Moore, the heavy-hitting safety, number 7. It looks like they're also going to lose Kalen Black, the backup running back. Looks like they probably will bring back Omar Cooper Jr., Pons, and their left tackle Carter Smith, who was their all-conference selection. I should say those guys have eligibility left, and they haven't declared. So as of right now, they all might come back, and that would be obviously huge. Pons, in my opinion, is the best corner in America. Cooper Jr., best catch of the season. He's amazing. And Carter Smith, for an O-line that was actually not overly heralded, but was really good. Coogan and Carter Smith were their two best players on the O-line in the eyes of most folks. So Carter Smith is the left tackle. So that's your Indiana situation. To me, it comes down to how good Josh Hoover is. I mean, again, it's Sig playing the portal perfectly. He's recruiting already developed, already very experienced, really good quarterbacks, along with other developed guys as well. And that's the trick to the portal and the trick to Indiana's greatness. It's not just that they're very well coached. They are. It's not just that they have really good players. It's that they're experienced and developed. And that was the big difference this year for Indiana. They had so many veteran guys who were like 22 and 23 years old when they were going up against a lot of the 20-year-olds from Oregon this year. It was just night and day difference in terms of experience, development, etc. So that's Indiana's kind of secret sauce, along with Sig's just drill sergeant, and I mean that in a complimentary way, drill sergeant, like focused, disciplined attitude. I think that is Indiana's secret sauce. So we'll see how good Hoover is next year. I've seen him in person twice now. He's really good. He's really mobile and athletic, like similarly mobile to Mendoza. So I think people will probably enjoy watching Josh Hoover next year in that offense. I imagine that he'll play a pretty similar style to the way that Mendoza did, to be honest. Okay, LSU. This one's all about Sam Leavitt and Lane. Leavitt and Lane, baby. I think that's going to be a pretty crack duo. I really can't wait to see them in action. Let me pull up Schlabach's article just so I can give you really quickly the tidbits on who's leaving and who's staying. Where does he have them? He has them at 15. Okay. Obviously, Nussmeier's gone. Lost a couple receivers. They will lose Harold Perkins, Delane, the awesome corner. But they do bring in Jace Brown from Kansas State. Really, really fast. Small guy. Really fast. Eugene Wilson from Florida. Interesting. Blake Purchase is going to Ole Miss. Blake Purchase from Oregon is going to Ole Miss. Brought in a lot of dudes on defense. Yeah, man. Whit Weeks is coming back. I really think this one's all about Lane and Leavitt. And you'll see with my list that I'm big into veteran quarterbacks. That is what excites me. Looking in the preseason anyway. Now, it didn't always pay out this year. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier, veteran quarterback, that didn't work. Cade Klubnik, veteran quarterback, that didn't work. Drew Aller, veteran quarterback, that didn't work. So, it doesn't always work. But I really believe in Sam Leavitt. I think he's a special talent, and obviously Lane is one of the most respected offensive minds in the sport. So, that'll be a crack combination. If they can keep their defense decent, they should be good. I don't know how quickly I should run through this or not. I'm getting kind of detailed, but Georgia, Gunnar Stockton, and Nate Frazier are back. A lot of questions at wide receiver. They were a really good team this year. I think they blew out Alabama in the SEC title game, and I picked them to win the national championship after I saw that performance because they were just a really physical team that I thought kind of had it going, and I just really like Stockton. But their defense was actually pretty inconsistent this year. I think it was really good when it was locked in. They really locked up Texas. They really locked up Alabama, but second time. But they got smoked by Trinidad. They won the game, but they got smoked by Trinidad a couple times, and then they lost the game, obviously, in the playoff. And I think maybe Trinidad's just that special. I actually do think he's just that special. I said he's the best QB in the sport all year long, just from his dual threat ability. I think he's that special. But, it's the SEC's weird. That probably deserves its own topic going into next year. Who's the best team? There's for the first time in a long time, there's not a standout, bona fide national title contender / favorite. I still think, I know people aren't going to love to hear this. I actually still think the SEC is the deepest conference. I think they're the deepest conference, especially when you look at schedules. I don't know if they're the best at the top. I think the Big Ten has proven the last 3 years. 3 years running, they've had the Natty champion. But you look at the difference between like Ohio State's schedule and Oklahoma's schedule. Ohio State's schedule is a joke compared to the SEC schedule. It is an absolute joke. Now, again, the teams at the top in the Big Ten are just as good, but the depth is so much better in the SEC. And you're gonna, if you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you. Either everyone in the NFL is really dumb, or they're not. I could do the side-by-side schedule. I was looking at Ohio State's schedule, and I was like, dude, they didn't play anyone good outside of Texas all season until the postseason. Sure enough, they're on a 2-game losing streak. Okay, I do have Texas at 4. Arch is back. They added a lot of offensive firepower in the portal. Schlabach has them at 2. They do lose Taff and Anthony Hill and Trey Moore. Those are big losses on defense. They lose Muhammad, who was their best corner. Trey Wisner, really good running back. He was actually the SEC's leading returning rusher going into the season. Smaller guy, was never really fully healthy. They had Cam Coleman. Apparently they're paying him big money. Obviously the Auburn receiver. Hollywood Smothers, awesome running back from NC State. Raleek Brown as well. So they bring those guys in. They got Wake Forest's best tackle, Siani. Still have Ryan Wingo. Apparently, they're going to bring back Trevor Gooseby, who was their only good offensive lineman this year. He was their left tackle. He was a projected first-round pick for a while. Will Muschamp is being thrust into the new DC role. Sark fired Pete Kwiatkowski. So that'll be something interesting to watch. I thought their defense was pretty good, but a little inconsistent, but pretty good this year. The biggest problem with the team, without question, was their O-line. I mean, their O-line was no good. They absolutely whiffed in the portal. And to me, outside of the Wake Forest tackle, if Gooseby comes back, you got 2 good tackles at least. But Texas was 90th in the country in rushing this year. And by the way, a big reason for that was that Arch took off and scrambled a lot. Like in terms of pure hand the ball off to the running back, go ahead. They were not even in the top 100 of teams in college football this year. It was that bad offensively on the ground for Texas. Like Arch had no help at all. And to me, dude, I don't care who you are. If you're think about how good Indiana was this year. They ran the ball like 70% of the time, 65% of the time. Many games, like, dude, Mendoza threw 16 passes in the Rose Bowl. They worked Alabama because they ran for over 200 yards. Mendoza threw like 20 passes against Oregon. They put up 55 points because they ran the ball very well. And he did hit a couple downfield explosives for sure, but they ran the ball very well. So I don't care who you are. You could be the best QB in the sport. If you don't have any running game and limited pass protection, it's going to be tough, man. It's just going to be tough. So I hope for the sake of Arch and for the sake of Texas, they can get a better running game going next year, and that starts with the interior of the O-line. So if they get that really good, then they are a legit top 5 team. Number 5, Ohio State. Julian Sayin is back. I think they're going to be more of an offensive-oriented and offensive-minded team this year. Let me pull up who they lost from Schleybaugh. Where's he have him at 6? So key starters expected to leave. They lost like all of their defense. Caleb Downs gone, Arvell Reese gone, Sonny Styles gone, Caden Curry gone, Caden McDonald gone, Igbinosun gone. Pretty much lost all their defense. All those guys going pro. They also lose Carnell Tate and Max Clare, the Purdue transfer at tight end. They are bringing in a ton defensively from the portal. They have 2 D linemen coming in from Bama from the portal, a safety from Duke, a linebacker from Wisconsin, a D tackle from UCF. So they're bringing in a lot of dudes from the portal. Have Bo Jackson and Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sayin back on offense. I thought they got way too conservative offensively. This year, Ryan Day has not named a replacement for Brian Hartline, who was the OC, longtime amazing receiver in his prime at Ohio State as a player, amazing receivers coach. Obviously, Ohio State's been on an insane run at recruiting and developing receivers over the years. Brian Hartline, arguably the reason for that. He's been there for a decade or so, but he took the South Florida job in the offseason, so now he is out there in Tampa, and they don't have a new OC yet, so that is interesting. Chip Kelly is at Northwestern, so he's not going back to Ohio State. I wonder if Coach Day, I shot him a little text. Hey, you want to go ahead and ditch Northwestern and come back to Ohio State? Be interesting. Matt Patricia's still there. Patricia's a great coach. I thought that their defense obviously was sensational this year. It was their offense that let them down. I think Coach Day got remarkably conservative, and they also couldn't run the ball when they needed to. Like, I remember vividly watching that Indiana game being like, they're in the red zone and they can't run the ball. 3rd and short, 4th and short, they get stuffed. Obviously, that happened against Miami as well. Weren't good enough on the ground. Hit one big play, Jeremiah Smith, then Sayin throws the pick 6, and they didn't do much at all on offense in that game. Again, Miami, really good defense. Indiana, really good defense, but you got to get better on the ground if you're Ohio State. I have Oregon at 6. Whole D-line is back. Tatum Tuioti, Mateo, Bear Alexander, Amari Washington, who is a projected first-round pick. All 4 of those guys are arguably first-round picks. Like, I thought Tuioti was the best of all of them this year. Amari Washington is a projected first-round pick. Bear Alexander has the 5-star pedigree, and he finally lived up to a lot of that hype this year. And then Mateo's been projected as a first-round pick. So, legitimately, I think all of them could go first round. Maybe 3 of 4 actually will. So a really good D-line coming back. I think most linebackers besides Betcher coming back, Devin Jackson, Jerry Mixon, those guys should be coming back to my knowledge. Aaron Flowers, redshirt freshman, Iffy freshman, Brandon Finney freshman. Dylan Thiemann is going pro, but you have Coy Parrish, who's like his clone from Minnesota, coming in. I remember watching Parrish 2 years ago as a true freshman at Minnesota. He's from the area. That's why he went to Minnesota, but he was a high 4-star, even 5-star by some services. 6'1", 200, insane athlete, insanely good punt returner. I think they could maybe make him the punt returner next year. That is a great addition. I still have big concerns at the QB spot. It was nowhere near good enough this year. 18 points a game on offense against the 6 best teams they faced. You do bring back Dierre Hill and Jordan Davison next year, which is awesome for Oregon. 2 sensational true freshman running backs from this year. Jamari Johnson, great tight end. DeCorian Moore, Evan Stewart, Jeremiah McClellan. That might be the best wide receiver trio in college football. I mean, they're great. Malik Benson's a loss, but I don't know, man. I think the question at QB is that looms large. That looms really large, and I'll get to that in a second when I do the Oregon Ducks offensive segment here. Okay, number 7, Miami. They do bring back Malachi Toney and Mark Fletcher, the running back. They lose their 5 best defensive players, including Bain and Mesidor. That's really tough to overcome. I think Miami in general is just a TBD with the Darian Mensah situation. I believe Duke is now suing him for trying to get out of the second year of his NIL contract, which is certainly in their right. He signed a 2-year deal, and he's trying to dip out of it. College football needs some serious legislation, man. They need some serious law and order. In the NFL, you can't do that. You can't just say, "No, I'm good on my contract." So certainly hope Duke wins that legal battle, as they should. Something tells me Miami will find enough money to try to get Mensah out of there. We'll see. It's getting complicated, man. College football is getting very complicated. Starters expected to leave for Miami: Carson Beck, Francis Mayoga, their great tackle, Brockermeyer, their center, Daniels, really good receiver, Marion, good receiver, and then obviously Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor, Torrey, Besant, and Thomas. Those are actually their 3 leading tacklers this year. So a lot to replace next year for Miami. Cristobal really earned my respect, and I think the respect of many with this postseason run. It's still really stiff on offense. It's just really stiff on offense, like really, really, really stiff. That game against A&M, it was 3-3 until the last, minute and a half of the game. 0 points in the first half of the Natty, lost to SMU by only scoring 20 points. I mean, the offense is really stiff, but the defensive line this year saved them. They'll need to open it up a bit more next year, and, Beck, I think there were 2 things going on with Beck. Number one, he's a pro-style guy, and I think Cristobal really wanted that pro-style offense, and that works in the playoff. That's playoff football, baby. But also, I do think his arm was at like 70%. I heard that and read that coming off that arm surgery. He took that nasty hit in the SEC title game a year ago. I think, you notice Miami didn't really throw many deep balls this year at all. I think Beck's arm was pretty banged up. So I actually think, as much respect as I have for him, that Mensah could be an upgrade, especially because he's a pretty mobile guy too. It'll be a bit more Cam Wardish offensively for next year, Miami. It's just kind of an initial outlook. And man, Malachi Toney's special. Like, keep giving that guy the ball in jet sweeps and pitches and screens, and then obviously downfield shots, because that's a special, special talent, man. Okay, that's Miami. 3 more for you. I got Notre Dame at 8, Michigan at 9, Texas Tech at 10. Notre Dame, obviously no Jeremiah Love or Jadarian Price or Eli Raridan. Great tight end. They're all gone. I'm just putting my confidence in Marcus Freeman here. CJ Carter takes some steps forward. Apparently they really like their new running back, Williams. Let me see where Schleybaugh has him. He has them at 3. This guy's been in the program, Anais Williams. They really like him. He averaged 9 yards a carry this year. Great House, their receiver, is back. So I'm just kind of putting my faith in their ability to mine the portal. Looks like they got a D lineman from Oregon, Tion Gray. He did not play much at all this year. But got a D lineman from Bama and some other D linemen, one from Pittsburgh. And And anyways, they went to the portal, and we'll see, man. I think I just got faith in Marcus Freeman to make them a really good, sturdy, solid defensive team. Michigan, I love Kyle Whittingham. It was not great this year with Sharon Moore, no doubt about it. But he's gone. Him and all of his troubles are gone. And Bryce Underwood, he took it on the chin as a true freshman this year, man. It's not easy to play college football as a true freshman, especially at QB. I think you put all your faith in the world in Bryce Underwood. I think he's a special talent. Seems like a good guy. Hung in there. Didn't really blame anyone. With Kyle Whittingham and bringing that physicality, that Michigan man physicality back, it's tough to not love Michigan, man. Kyle Whittingham is so in alignment with what Michigan football likes to be about, which is smash the ball down your throat. And, Underwood's a special talent. If they can unlock him a bit more, then they could have a really good season. And, it'll probably look a little conservative offensively this year, like a lot of the Utah teams have. But if you keep stacking 4- and 5-star talent, Schlabach has Michigan all the way down at 18, then, I think there's no reason that they can't be a really, really tough out next year. So I have them at 9. Could be a little high, but I'm putting my faith in Kyle Whittingham. I just respect him so much. And same with Underwood. I respect Underwood this year. I know it looked really ugly. I want to say Underwood went like 6 games in the middle of the season without throwing a touchdown pass. It was a really tough watch, but I think more of that is blaming Sharon Moore. I mean, Sharon Moore, he was obviously dealing with some demons. And I'm all I'm saying is I still got all the faith in the world in Underwood, because it's really tough to be a true freshman QB, and be impressive. Man, I'm already at the 27-minute mark. Okay. And then I got Texas Tech at 10. I would put Ole Miss here if Trinidad, aka Trinidaddy. Get on up here, Trinidaddy. Pete Golding. If Trinidaddy's back, Ole Miss could be as high as, the ceiling is the roof for Trinidaddy. I think he's that special. He would, in my opinion, certainly would be the best QB in college football next year if he's able to come back. Texas Tech brings in Brendan Sorsby from Cincinnati. Honestly, no clue if he's good or not. Absolutely no clue. Cincinnati finished 7-6 with some really bad losses in there. They lost to Nebraska. I got their schedule pulled up here. Barely beat Bowling Green. Barely beat Kansas. Kind of barely beat UCF, and then ended the year on a 5-game losing streak. Got hammered by 31 to Utah, lost to Arizona, lost to BYU, lost to TCU, got hammered by Navy in the Liberty Bowl. Sorsby played in all of those games except the bowl game. So there's not a lot. Like, he was the consensus number 1 QB in the portal, I'm pretty sure, which is fucking crazy because Sam Levitt is so much better than him. But I'm pretty sure, like, On 3 and all of them had Sorsby as the number. I don't get it, man. I watched it. It wasn't very good. Their offense wasn't that good. He's a fast runner, which I think excites people. And who knows? Maybe the team around him was really bad. I won't be the one to identify that, but I was not overly impressed with a 7-6 Big 12 quarterback. Maybe he lights it up, and he'll certainly have a lot of talent around him because Texas Tech is going to go make a lot of portal purchases, as they always do in this new era. Let me see where Schlabach had Texas Tech. A&M, he has him high. He has him at 7. Wow. And that's the thing. Yeah, I should have mentioned this off the rip. Obviously, they lose everyone on defense. Jacob Rodriguez, who was the best linebacker in college football, he won like every single defensive player award possible this year. Finished, 5th in the Heisman voting? Something like that. He was awesome. J-Rod, number 10, like legend in Lubbock. Seriously, legend in Lubbock. No hyperbole. By the way, they won their first outright conference championship this year since 1955. First outright title since 1955. Huge shout out to Texas Tech and to J-Rod there. David Bailey gone, Lee Hunter gone, Height gone, J-Rod gone, Ramirez gone, and their QB. It was rough in the Orange Bowl, but Baron Morton's gone as well. So they bring in Sorsby. Looks like they bring in a couple receivers who I've never heard of. Dante Lee from Liberty, Kenny Johnson from Pitt, and Malcolm Simmons from Auburn. They do bring in Trey White, the DN from San Diego State. I liked him a lot. San Diego State was low-key one of the best defenses in college football this year, at least for the group range. So yeah, man, I think fantastic season for them. Made it all the way to the Orange Bowl, first outright conference title since '55. Big 12 to me, pretty far behind the Big Ten and the SEC. Obviously, kind of an offensive flop for Texas Tech in the bowl game, but fantastic season. I mean, fantastic season. All the credit in the world to them. Only lost once in the regular season. Won the conference title. So as long as the NIL money's flowing in, they should be pretty good. I don't know. I feel like 10's kind of the right spot for them. I'm just so wait and see on Sorsby. So that's my top 10. My way too early top 10. Indiana 1, LSU 2. I admit that might be too high. Georgia 3, Texas 4, Ohio State 5, Oregon 6, Miami 7, Notre Dame 8, Michigan 9, and Texas Tech 10.